Welcome to the mid-season finale of Gary Talks, and it's my final top 10 list episode of the year, where I look at my top 10 favorite movies of 2025. Let's jump right in with number 10, Companion. Companion is one of those movies that sneaks up on you. It looks like a genre piece on the surface, but the longer it goes, the more it reveals itself as something much more thoughtful and unsettling. The film plays with themes of loneliness, dependency, and emotional projection in a way that feels distinctly modern, tapping into anxieties about technology and human connection without leaning on obvious tropes. What really sells Companion is the tone. It's restrained, patient, and deeply uncomfortable in the best way. The performances ground the film emotionally, making the high concept feel personal rather than gimmicky. The movie trusts its pacing instead of over-explaining itself, which makes the tension creep in slowly and linger long after the credits roll. It's smart filmmaking that respects the viewer. Next up at number 9, the film that might just win Adam Sandler an Oscar, J. Kelly. J. Kelly feels like one of those movies that reminds you why character-driven storytelling still matters. It's a quiet, observant film that lives in moments rather than plot mechanics. The story unfolds through conversations, silences, and emotional subtext, allowing the audience to gradually piece together who these people are and why they're stuck where they are. What makes J. Kelly stand out is its honesty. It doesn't romanticize its characters or judge them. It simply observes them. The writing feels lived in. The performances are understated but deeply affecting, and the movie gives its actors room to breathe. J. Kelly proves that intimacy and nuance can still compete in a year filled with spectacle. Paul Thomas Anderson is one of those directors that either I love his films or I hate them. Boogie Nights is one of my all-time favorites, and Magnolia is great. But I'm also one of those few people that just didn't care for There Will Be Blood, and to this day, I've never been able to get all the way through The Master. So I wasn't sure what I would think of his newest film, but here it is, coming in at number 8, One Battle After Another. This is filmmaking that feels angry in a focused, purposeful way. One Battle After Another is relentless, emotionally charged, and deeply political, even if it's a little preachy. It captures the exhaustion of conflict, both external and internal, and examines how people carry trauma forward, whether they want to or not. The film's strength lies in its intensity. The direction keeps you locked in, the pacing never lets up, and the performances feel raw and unfiltered. And while Leo is great as always, the film is stolen by Sean Penn in one of the most bizarre performances of his long career. One Battle After Another doesn't hedge or soften its edges. It challenges the audience and demands engagement, which is exactly what ambitious cinema should do. Sometimes we'll have movies like J. Kelly, which is about a character named J. Kelly, and sometimes we have a movie where the title seems to have nothing to do with the movie at all. But I did a little research on our next film, and it's named after a practice of sacrificing a cow in order to bring the bees back, which totally makes sense when you watch the movie, Beonia. Beonia is one of those movies that reminds you why original, off-kilter cinema still matters. On paper, it sounds almost unclassifiable. In execution, it's fearless. This is a film that leans into discomfort, absurdity, and social paranoia, then dares you to laugh, think, and squirm at the same time. What makes the film so great is how confidently it lives in its own weirdness. It's a satire, a thriller, and a character study all at once, constantly shifting tone without ever losing control. The movie plays with ideas of obsession, conspiracy, and modern alienation, asking what happens when people convince themselves they see the truth while everyone else is blind to it. It's weird in the best way. Smart without being smug, funny without losing its bite, and most importantly, it's a film that stays with you. Coming in at number 6, the most beautiful film of the year, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. This version of Frankenstein understands that the story was never really about the monster. It's about responsibility, creation, and abandonment. The film leans into the gothic tragedy at the heart of the story, focusing on the emotional and ethical consequences of playing God rather than turning the monster into a spectacle. Visually, it's stunning. The atmosphere is heavy, the imagery is haunting, and the production design creates a world that feels both timeless and painfully relevant. The performances bring real humanity to these characters, and the film is about returning to the emotional truth that made this story endure for centuries. Next up at number 5, it's another Jack Quaid film, Novacane. Novacane is a jolt of adrenaline. It's slick, fast, and knows exactly what kind of movie it wants to be. The concept is simple but effective, and the film wastes no time turning that idea into a series of escalating creative set pieces. The tone balances dark humor with genuine tension, and the movie constantly finds inventive ways to push its premise forward. It's confident, stylish, and unapologetically entertaining. Novacane delivers exactly what it promises and does it with flair. While I liked One Battle After Another, I felt that the film was kind of heavy-handed with some of the themes. Another film tackled a lot of the same things and did it much better. Coming in at number 4, Edington. Edington is eerie in a way that gets under your skin. It's a slow burn that builds dread through atmosphere and psychological unease rather than jump scares. The film's strength lies in how it lets its paranoia and uncertainty infect every single frame. The storytelling is deliberate and confident. The movie trusts the audience to follow its rhythms and piece together the meaning. The performances are deeply unsettling, blurring the line between reality and perception in a way that keeps you constantly off balance. Ultimately, it's bold and uncompromising. Edington is the kind of film that rewards patience and curiosity, offering a haunting experience that lingers long after the film ends. Next up at number 3, the most fun I had watching any film this year, The Monkey. This is horror with a wicked sense of humor and a sharp understanding of fear. The Monkey taps into primal dread while also having fun with its absurdity. It knows when to lean into terror and when to let the audience laugh. The craftsmanship here is impressive, the tension is expertly paced, the imagery is iconic, and the movie uses anticipation better than most horror films in recent years. It earns the number 3 spot because it's confident, memorable, and wildly effective. The Monkey proves that horror still thrives when it embraces creativity. My number 2 favorite film of the year was actually my favorite all the way through mid-December, and then I saw another movie that took that spot. But coming in at number 2, Mickey 17. Mickey 17 is ambitious science fiction that blends dark humor, existential dread, and sharp social commentary. The premise alone is bold, but the film commits fully to exploring what identity means when life becomes disposable. What makes it work is the tone. It's funny, bleak, and emotionally resonant all at once. The performances anchor the high concept, making the repeated deaths and rebirths feel tragic rather than gimmicky. The movie asks big questions about capitalism, labor, and humanity without losing its sense of entertainment. It's here at number 2 because it feels original. Mickey 17 is the kind of sci-fi that blends spectacle with ideas in a way that feels both modern and timeless. And now for my favorite film of 2025. When I first saw the trailer, I thought, this movie looks kind of lame, and I had no plans to see it. I didn't check it out in the theater, and I really only decided to watch it when it was on Netflix and I had nothing else to do. But it was a movie so good that I watched it twice in one day. My favorite film of the year, from master director Darren Aronofsky, Caught Stealing. This is number 1 for a reason. Caught Stealing is electric. It's a crime film that understands momentum, character, and consequence. From its opening moments, it pulls you into a world that feels dangerous, lived in, and unpredictable. What sets it apart is balance. The movie is thrilling without being flashy, smart without being smug. The characters feel real, the dialogue snaps, and the story constantly evolves in a way that feels organic rather than forced. Every choice matters, and the tension never lets up. It takes the top spot here because it's the complete package. Caught Stealing delivers storytelling, performance, direction, and tone at the highest level. A movie so good that, like I said, I had to watch it twice in one day, and that's what makes it my number 1 favorite film of 2025. And those are my favorite films of 2025. Thank you guys for watching all the episodes this year, and I'll be back in a couple months as I continue looking at all my favorite things in film, TV, and music. See you later.
From caves to tapes, Gary's on the case. He's breaking down each scene, every place. On Gary Talks, he's quick comic strips. Gary